Hello, welcome back to the Python for Beginners series. This is part 2 of the series. I hope all of you in part 1 are back here. Now let's do a brief recap of what we did in the previous video. The previous video, we ended at data types. We talked about strings, integers, floats, and we'll be talking about more of them later. Now we are going to talk about the type of function. The type of function is just a way of trying to tell us the type of a specific variable. So let's say we try to print the type of name. If I run this, I'm going to have a class of string. This means name has the type of string. The next one, let me bring it down. Let's say print the type of age. Let me print the type of height. When I run this, I'm going to get string, integer, and float. So the type of function is just trying to tell us which group does a specific variable belong to. So now let's move on to user inputs. So now user inputs is just a way of taking, let's say, feedbacks from a user through the console. So to take inputs through the console or terminal from a user, we are going to use the input function. There's a function in Python called input function. Let's try that. So just type input, and in here we tell whatever we want to tell as the user. So this is the prompt that we want the user to see. So like, let's say, what is your name? So in this case, we just have to run this code, and it says what is your name, and there is something there trying to show us that we need to type something. So when I type kudos, I press enter, the program just ends because we didn't ask it to do anything from there. So what if we want to store what the user gave us into a variable called name? So in this case, we have a variable called name, then we want to store whatever the user gave us over there. So in this case, you can print the name. So when I run this, it says what is your name? Say my name is Gold. Press enter, it prints gold for me. Let me clear my terminal. So now let's talk about the concept of string indexing. So for string indexing, let's say I have a variable called name is, let's say, kudos again, and I try to get what is the first character in the name kudos. All I have to type is I have to print name, the square braces, and the position that I want to find. But in programming, we start counting from 0, we don't start counting from 1. So in this case, this is position 0, position 1, position 2, position 3, and position 4. So if I pass 0 over here, save, I run this, you see it gives me k. So this means I'm trying to get the element at the first index. So if I pass in index 5 and I print it, it says an error, index out of range, because I'm out of range of the index, because this index only has up to 4, because we start counting from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So when I write 5, I'm actually causing the string and it shows an error. So let's try this again. Error. As you can see, no matter how many times you try it, you get an error. Now if I pass in 4, and I run this, it gives me S, because that's what's at index 4. Also, we have negative indexing, starts to index from behind. So let's say I don't know what the last character is. Let's say I have a very long string can't just start counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 all the way to the last element minus 1. I can't. So if I want the last element, I just have to put -1. So this starts counting from behind. That's what the negative indexing does. But for counting from behind, we don't start counting from -0. So probably mean 0 is the last element, but negative means start counting from 0 but from behind. No, we start from 1. So this is -1. So when I run this, I'm going to get B, which is the last element. So -5, when I run it, I get D, because this -1, -2, -3, -4, and -5 is right here, D. So that's the concept of indexing. Now we want to talk about Fstrings. What are Fstrings? Fstrings have this syntax. Let's say my name is, bring an F before I start typing my name. If I decide to print my name, I want you guys to check whether there is any difference between this and the normal way that we've been doing it. When I run this, I get kudos. As you can see, based on this, there is no difference between using Fstring or just ignoring the Fstring like this. You get the same thing. But what if I want to write kudos and maybe, let's say I have another variable called age, which is 4. I want to write kudos and maybe probably my age. I want to concatenate them together, or let me say kudos and my age. So probably kudos 4. So this is where the problem comes in. When I do this with the normal strings, I'm going to get kudos and age because it thinks I'm just trying to print kudos age. But what if I'm trying to pass in kudos and my age? So in this case, this is where the string Fstrings come in handy. So if I pass in an Fstring over here, I get to put in any variable that I want over here in this. So I have curly braces and I put in my age. So in this case, when I run this, I'm going to get kudos 4, not kudos age. Can do the same thing over here. Let's say I have another variable called color. Like, let's see, my color is red and I'm trying to print kudos name and maybe color. Can equally do the same thing over here. All I have to do is put this around it and it's going to print kudos 400. The same way I did this, I can also decide to do all of this in here like this. So here I decide to put an Fstring and I put in my name, put in age, and then I have the last one being color. So this is the same as the normal Fstring we've been doing here. So this is an Fstring, and this is where we pass the string, and then we pass in whatever we want to pass in curly braces. So when I run this, I'm going to have kudos 400. So that is all that I have on Fstrings for you. Now let's deal with string concatenation. What is string concatenation? String concatenation is a way of adding two strings together, joining them together. Like, let's say I have my first name is Abdul. My last name is Kudus. What if I want to have a full name, which is supposed to be like Abdul Kudus? I'm not supposed to come back and type Abdul plus Kudus. So all I have to do is type first name plus last name. So in this case, if I print my full name, print full name, I get Abdul Kudus. But notice how these things get squashed together. This is because I'm printing Abdul and Kudus concatenated together. There is no space between them. So if I want a space between them, I'm either going to put a space in here like this, run this, gives Abdul Kudus. There's like two strings squashed together, but this string already has a space here, so it joins them together. Or I can have it like this, have another string in between them like this, this Kudus, this string Kudus Abdul plus this string, which is a space, plus this string, which is Kudus, together. So when I save this and run this, I get the same thing, Abdul Kudus. So this is the concept of joining strings together. So I can equally do this. Maybe let me see, get rid of this and print full name without using an F string. So I can print, sorry, I already have print there. I can print first name plus space and then plus the last name. Sorry, it's last name, not last name. When I run this, I get Abdul Kudus. I can equally do this with F strings again. Let's say print. In this case, I'm going to have an F string here, and remember how we do it with F strings. We have this, and we put in first name here, and then move here a space, and then my last name. So when I run this too, I get the same thing. So it's preference, either you do it this way or you do it using the F string, but I personally think the F string is better. But they actually do the same thing, but the F string allows you to do a lot of things without even trying to put this in here.